Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again into the second match of this best-of-3 series between Legacy and Sin. And with that very convincing game one, Legacy are now up 1-0 with a very unique team composition as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, it had a little bit of 1-3-1 or maybe 1-4 with the one being the mid laner. That was a little bit unique, as you said, but I actually like the way it came together. I like the fact that Claire was so confident and so aggressive on what is generally a top lane fighter in Fiora and was able to take it to the Kassadin matchup.
Yep.
Must have been scrimming it, because I agree with the guys on the deck. I have not seen him play that at all, actually. So it was very, I guess, a curveball that was thrown. I think that's like your one trap card that you have. And now we'll go back to more of a standard series.
Yeah, so let's see what they're going to pull out in this match. Or potentially, after that, Sin are going to have to try and prioritize more towards that Fiora itself, or potentially not play Kassadin. Speaking of which, instantly banned out by Sin, so they don't want Claire to have that champion. But we'll have to see what changes in this pick and ban phase.
Yeah, if anything changes at all. I mean, straight away, Sin get rid of the Kassadin themselves. So not wanting to give that over to Claire as the last pick on red side for the first round. And they also get rid of the Rumble, which is interesting because had good teamfight impact, but Dockler looked fine against it in lane. I mean, Jarvan was pulling ahead in CS and could have potentially looked to take over the mid game. It just did not happen because you had to burn teleport a couple of times to get back to lane.
Potentially a problem for Sin, but it seemed like they were able to manage that situation quite well.
I just think Redemptions and Locket being so strong at the moment means that it's not really all that much of a problem.
See, I really like this from teams, and not enough teams do it. We had problems against Rumble, we had problems against Fiora. Could we have fixed it? Yeah, sure, but let's just ban it. Get rid of those champions and try something else. Meanwhile, Caitlyn, Elise, and Thresh banned up by Legacy leaves Zac open, which is picked up by Sin.
Yeah, so Juves has always been a Zac player. So I expect him to be able to play the new and improved Green Blob. However, it does leave Nunu as a response that Carbon's able to pick up. Leave Xayah, Rakan, if they lost Cupcake, want to pick up those two champions. I mean, there is just so much left available when you leave a champion select open like this. Galio's available for Dockler. However, that would be a thrown gauntlet to Tally, saying, please bring any kind of fighter into me that you want to in the top lane.
Let's see if they pick it up, because Galio is the next big contested pick. Locked in straight away for Sin. Legacy went for the Lover's Lane bottom. Xayah and Rakan. I mean, it makes sense. Lost and Cupcake play so well together. Having the extra little bit of mechanical prowess on Rakan and Xayah thanks to their interactions could help them propel well in that lane. FBI will be picking up Varaso as his AD carry of choice.
And just to go through what the interactions are, Rakan benefits from Xayah's W, gets a little bit more attack speed. Rakan is able to dash further back towards Xayah with the E, and their recall, of course, can be synchronized. However, not going to get another Nunu game. This time, going to go towards Ivern.
Yeah, putting another tree in the forest here and making Spawn's life absolutely miserable this game. As Carbon picks up Mr. Ivern.
And that's, I mean, interesting. We saw the Chiefs play it yesterday, not to very good effect. Direwolves were able to run over the top of them. It was a very protect the 80 carry comp. Wonder if it's going to be coupled here. You see Carbon actually mastering the side of the mouth drink that Pulse and I went through in depth at Origin. Means you don't have to move your microphone. It doesn't disturb your teammates. You can see right back to talking. That's efficient drinking right there.
Goodness. Someone save me. Meanwhile, Syndra's been the ban that comes out from Legacy here, so they don't want Ryama on that champion. Jarvan actually banned out by Sin.
Yeah, so not wanting to give that one over to Tally in the top lane matchup. Of course, you would have to expect that that is going to be a top lane Galio, although T-Gun has some very strong words about support Galio and how it's actually good.
Renekton's the final ban from Sin. Lucian taken away by Legacy. We've seen so many Lucian mid players pop up in Oceania. Legacy now deciding what their next few picks are going to be. They're missing their two solo laners. So Claire as well as Tally have to pick up their champions. Orianna is the lock-in of choice for Claire.
And that makes sense. I mean, Claire's a very good control mage player. Good Victor player, most notably, but, you know, Orianna, very similar vein as Victor. Scales up to the 2.5, 3 item point before really starts taking over games, but has good wave clear and is very difficult to engage upon.
And something we saw from Suman from Regicide was maxing E second, which could be beneficial in this team comp with an Ivern. Could be that pseudo protection that the AD carry needs.
Yeah, I don't really love it though. I mean, I understood why he was going for it, to be able to trade a little bit better, but I like the burst damage that comes out of W next. And it is going to be Kled in the top lane, so it is a fighter. They tried to ban them away, Fish, but not really enough bans in the game to get rid of every fighter and diver.
Yeah, let's see if Rogue and, sorry, Juves. No, I got him wrong
Dockler?
twice. Dockler could go up against Talix Kled here on Galio. Ryoma picks up Talia as his champion of choice, and Rogue picks up Zyra. Zyra Varus, a very potent bottom lane combo.
Certainly is. It has a lot of lockdown. Is able to keep both members in place if the roots ever hit. Able to get them snared up through the Varus ultimate, Xayah plants, as well as the R. So lots of damage coming out. However, I like the ability for Legacy to engage onto a Sin lineup if they ever get ahead. At the same time, they do have to be prepared to be able to disengage successfully from a Zac Galio combo, which is easier said than done, Fish.
There's two components of Exodia and Sin anyway. Galio as well as Zac. Two champions that barely make it through picks and bans ever, and they've got both of them. That's something scary you have to face off against if you're Legacy.
And you know, if you're Seto Kaiba, only having to go up against 2 pieces of Exodia isn't that bad, because Yu Yumoto is a top-decking... Yeah, I don't like him very much.
I know what the next string of words are going to be
Yeah.
from you. They're not
Blank,
appropriate
blank,
for this.
blank.
Not
Yes.
appropriate for this broadcast, but you could probably fill in the gaps there. Still, it's...
I mean, you got 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. How do you lose a game?
I don't know. Apparently, Exodia is the way, but that never happens. But for Sin, they do have a very potent team composition here. Legacy, a little bit more interesting. I mean, going back towards the Ivan, who has had some very heavy nerfs. We have the Talia Rakan bottom lane, which is really interesting to watch, but a lot of people don't rate it very highly.
I mean, if you're a good Rakan player, Rakan's good. If you're a bad Rakan player, Rakan looks very lackluster. I think that is just the way it's going to go. So we'll see which one Cupcake is, because we definitely don't have any doubts about Lost Xayah.
Yeah. We're about to head into the second match of this best of
We've
3
headed
series. We are. Sin taking on Legacy here. Currently, Legacy up 1-0. But for now, let's check in with Hingers, who is standing by with Sin's coach, Bensel.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with coach of Sin, Bensel, and a difficult draft in game 1. But how are you feeling about this second draft?
Yeah, the first one was tricky to handle. A few things probably we weren't expecting and didn't deal with very well, I'd say, in the first game. But the second game, I think, is a bit more standard from them and should be easier for the guys to play out.
Yeah, especially picking up Zac and Galio, 2 champions which we've seen almost perma-banned elsewhere in the world. I mean, have you guys had a lot of practice with these champs?
Yeah, we have. We've had quite a lot of practice. We were scrimming a while ago when people, were just banning. There were no bans for the scrims, so everyone got to play with everything. So we played this comp a few times. We're pretty confident with it.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck in the game, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thanks.
Bensel is always a very confident man in his lineup, has a lot of faith in the Sin players, which rightfully so. They're a bunch of great League of Legends athletes.
Oh, I don't think there is any doubt that Sin is turning into one of the premier teams in the OPL. I mean, they've got very young players in the forms of FBI and Ryoma who definitely need to continue to grow, but really, we've seen them already come 3rd this year in 1 split. So close on that 2nd place in their first final. They're also going to head over to Rift Rivals, which will give them even more experience. They played in Origin. I mean, this is a lineup that you can get excited about if you're a Sin fan.
And I mean, talking to Hingers early on in the day, we both agreed this is kind of like the derby of the OPL, where 2 rivals come to face against one another. Not so much in the sense of historical prowess, but more of recent history. Sin against Legacy has always been a big match to watch.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, Sin historically have gone on runs in the OPL. And for some reason, they always seem to start against one of the big 2, either the Chiefs or Legacy. In very recent memory, it has definitely been more of the Legacy side of that. And we'll see whether that form is able to continue, because game 1 was pretty convincing, honestly, out of Legacy.
It was. So kicking off this game, while we were in the interview, we saw Rogue stepping up, trying to plant as many seeds as possible in the bottom lane. He had to burn his flash due to a rotating team of Legacy moving down there.
5 members.
Yeah, they didn't use any summoners, but historically, in this match, Sin against Legacy, they have burnt Rogue's flash a couple of times on level 1 and picked on the bottom lane. In fact, looking to try and engage on towards FBI, trades very well against Cupcake.
Yeah, no E there available, so Lost isn't going to be able to keep them in place. And diving on to Varus is always interesting because he just can stand and deliver with so much damage, Fish. You can see that they actually end up winning out on that trade, but Doran Shield 80 carry really makes it hard to engage onto anyone in the bottom lane with much success at the moment.
Who the heck decided to make this change?
It's an interesting one.
Oh, goodness. tweet coming in from Blinky, who I'm sure is in the studio right now getting ready for his match later on today. For context, Cupcake bought 10 pink wards and Rogue bought 31.
All right, that's a little bit of a difference, but some action
But
fish.
Talia has been caught out here. Ryoma flashing over the wall, trying to get back to safety, and successfully does so. So gets out of a sticky situation, burnt Claire's ghost, burnt the exhaust from Cupcake, and a flash from Carbon.
Yeah, so they use 3 summoner spells, they get 2 in response. Big thing, however, is they also send him back to base. And the lane is in a very good position right now for Claire. As well as the fact that the 3 buff is going down. Ivan definitely is still good if you can play him aggressively. I talk about it a lot, but keep your smite available for enemy camps only. Prep yours, invade heavily, and you can still make Ivan work. You can see that Carbon is ahead in experience. However, Juve's now going for his first gank. Has been spotted out. Tally's off his mount already.
And it's not at halfway charge, which is where you have to be very careful about him getting Scarl back. Once that bar starts to turn yellow, it's difficult to get any ganks going because he turns invulnerable, he gets so much health back. It's just so frustrating. But for now, he's just so tiny, small, and insignificant.
There you talk about Claire that way. I mean, the big
all
thing
about
for me
Scarl.
right now is he's actually been zoned off creeps. So you can see that Doppler, although he misses that one, has been able to get up about 8 CS. See whether Kelly can catch up now as the creeps crash underneath turret. Because of the W mechanic, it is very easy to last hit on the blade, whether you're on your mount or not.
Mid lane, as you mentioned, Ryoma was forced back to base.
That's a little
Blades
flick,
against
and
Claire.
ooh, that's harsh.
Carbon almost tags him with the snare as well, which could have been lights out for Ryoma.
Trying to come out of Fog of War twice then, Carbon. I feel like Ryoma knew he was there. So it wasn't a successful gank. However, the flick came out, but Claire returned fire pretty successfully.
For now, it is fairly even though in that mid lane. The only difference is boots, which Ryoma's gone back to pick up and gets an extra control ward for himself. And CS is fairly even between Claire as well as Ryoma.
But the big thing you have to watch for in mid, and we talk about it a lot, is experience. If you are someone like a Talia that doesn't have a damage ultimate, you're not able to get the push, and you lose out on level 6 because of experience, Claire will have genuine kill threat around the map. And especially in that mid lane because no summoner spells available. So see whether Ryoma is able to match that.
Still sticking around this mid lane, pushing that one out. Again, a very quiet start
And
between Legacy and
Ryoma,
Chiefs.
because he was able to clear out that back line, actually gets ultimate first, ticks over to level 6. Claire's going to grab it on this creep. But you can see no aggression coming out from either mid laner, just happy to trade creeps.
Yep. Trying to still be a little bit more aggressive. He knows if he gets those Thunderlords procs off, Ryoma doesn't have as much sustain thanks to not having the shield or Talia. But still, no big rotations from either team so far. Both top laners have their teleports. Galio is roaming down towards the mid lane.
Here we go, a little bit of engage coming in. Galio's got ulti.
Yeah, Juice jumps on towards Claire. Shockwave used by Claire. Only clears the mini wave, so not too bad, but didn't lock down Ryoma.
Certainly didn't, and that was just a hair's breadth away of being able to clip Ryoma on the very edge. Ryoma did a good job, however, of being able to dance back. You can see that the fight is continuing in the mid lane. Good flick on Carbon.
Good flick. Carbon's locked down by Juice. He doesn't have his flash available right now, but not enough damage coming out from the Zac to lock down the magical tree himself. Claire's going to continue chasing forward, and Daisy's going to town.
Yeah, I mean, this is just what happens when... Oh, Cupcake. All right, we've got a little bit of a lull here. No, we don't.
They're going to keep fighting here. FBI taking quite a bit of damage. You can see the attack speed steroid helping out Cupcake and Lost.
All right, so what I was going to say is this is what happens when neither jungler really does damage on an auto attack basis. You can see that Juves unfortunately missed his abilities there apart from the Q, as we have some more aggression fish.
They're going back in. Ultimate used by FBI though. He's very low. Uses the heal nice and early.
Teleport coming in.
Teleport's coming
Both
behind.
of them, actually.
Tally as well as Dockler coming down, but Tally's getting in there first. Juice will stop him as now Dockler's there, gets an uppercut and a taunt. That should just disengage the fight. Tally is a very tanky man at the moment, so both top laners coming down just to make sure no one dies.
Yeah, but at the same time, look at what Carbon's doing. It's just so damn annoying. Goes into the other side of the map, takes away a blue buff for himself. Able to just continue to bully out and pick on this Zac. I think Zac had one buff so far for the whole game. Will now be able to pick up a red. Carbon going to go back to his side of the jungle as well and grab his own. So really starting to put the screws in, and as I was going to say, you know, this is just massive for Orianna. because being able to deny blue buffs away from Talia, but also have permanent blue buff on Claire, just means the lane gets so difficult.
Top of that, the first elemental dragon of the game is the Infernal Dragon. A lot of pros are very outspoken about how that is the best objective to take on the map pre-20 minutes, even more so than Rift Herald, who comes in at a close second. So we should see a lot of fighting once that Rift Herald does eventually spawn. Potentially teams could trade sides of the map with that.
Certainly could be the case. Right now you can see mid and bot certainly have advantages for Legacy, so probably in a better position to be able to take down Herald.
True.
However, one engagement from Jubes can change that story quite quickly. The shove from Ryoma is really starting to take off. You can see that very comfortable just sitting there, throwing the pebbles at the mid lane, getting that started. And because it's Ivan, Tally's going to be able to grab red buff as well, so potentially time for him to start improving that top lane. He is down by about 8 CS, but it's very hard to go up against the early wave clear of Galio when he has triple ring.
Tally's doing just fine on this top side of the map, but again, Doppler standing up nice and easy on Galio. He's new to the OPL, very new to the competitive scene in general. Don't know too much about this man, but has had a good start to the OPL so far. Jubes though, looking for engage. Good ultimate used by Lost. Actually turning around onto Jubes, who's trying to deliver him back into the team. Charmed out of the ultimate by Cupcake, keeping Lost safe. Fantastic synergy between this duo.
Yeah, it certainly is. You can see that they only burnt one flash there. At the same time, Jubes had to burn his, so withstand the gank. They do get chunked out slightly. But overall, not too shabby out of Lost and Cupcake, showing they're pretty experienced with this lane combo.
Lost and Cupcake have always just been a fantastic duo to watch in the OPL. Again and again, proving us why so. Doppler is getting shoved in here by Tally. With that red buff, you kind of expect him to lose any trades that Claire decides to go for. But Galio, decent wave clear, especially with the triple ring start that he has top side of the map.
And that's what it's really all about, Fish. You can see that he's letting the wave push into him, not really all that bothered about it, just doesn't want to go into a 1v1 fight where red buff's going to be applied, making it easy to get that bear trap on a rope. Now that they don't have the summon spell, oh, this is going to be big.
They've locked down Rogue, who's incredibly low. He's going to be the first one to die. Gets his ultimate off, but doesn't connect with anyone. Now Carbon will lock down Jubes. No flash available for this Zac. Cupcake is the only one here to do any damage. Meanwhile, Lost has died to plants, I believe, in the back lines. They will pop Jubes. Loses his passive. FBI goes aggressive, trying to stop Carbon as well as Cupcake from pushing any further forward.
Tangoing.
Look at Daisy, though. Daisy's just going to town, and Claire will die one-on-one to Ryoma in the middle of the river.
Yeah, and we'll see whether now Ryoma can get down an impact, because bottom lane, Jubes is back up and they're still going, Fish.
Exhaust used, good snare coming out from Carbon, very low. Ryoma, one more auto attack would be enough. Instead, changing his mind, goes towards Cupcake. He's dead. Carbon's next double kill. That's a delayed triple for Ryoma, who just wiped the floor with Legacy.
Absolutely massive. Caught Claire on the rotation down, burned both summoner spells, but were able to take out Claire in the 1v1. Then is able to join the fight late because Jubes got the blobs back. And it is Sin this time around that hit massive. Problem is, doesn't even give him the gold lead yet, Fish, because CS is just so firmly in control of this Legacy squad.
But it's so even. It's about 100 gold that separates these two teams. Sin must be on fire after that fight. And we can take a look at that one-on-one between Claire and Ryoma again.
Yeah, really nicely done from Ryoma to catch Claire out there. You can see Claire's actually not watching that part of his map. And then delay flashes the wall after Ryoma had used his flash. Just gets over. Don't even know why he healed, really. Maybe a little bit of style point.
That was very, very clean from Ryoma.
Certainly was.
Top side of the map, Doppler. He's been sitting on an island with Tally. They've been fighting back and forth. Just wondering what's happening on the rest of the map.
And the thing is that Doppler is going to get very tanky.
He is.
Tally, at the same time, is going to start doing a lot of damage. And it's going to be about who really can facilitate the team fight better. Now that Ryoma is ahead, potentially he's going to have the push and be able to get access into, top lane, bottom lane. This game could really burst open on Sin's side. However, everywhere else on the map is still pretty firmly in control of Legacy. They still have a 500 gold lead. And not really all that bothered by the fact that Tommy got himself a triple kill. It was a really nice pickup that gives them an opening into this game. And if the kills had gone the other way, it would have been horrible. Actually not going for this bottom lane play, however. They sent 3 members down.
Carbon instead, waiting for Red Buff to respawn here. Should take that one down. Has Smite. Picks it up nice and easy.
You can see that Ryoma knows what's going on. He's actually even counter-jungling his own jungler, just taking away everything off the map.
They're trying to sneak around Tommy though. He will back off into Conga Walk close to the river. That's a ghost being used by Claire. Because
Yeah,
Tally is coming for the flank. Galio jumping in on top of Ryoma to make sure he's safe. And Claire missing the ultimate from Orianna. That's crucial. Big taunt from Doctor. It's going to be Juice jumping into the back lines. Knockup comes in. They will only get bounced back, but Doppler picks up the first kill. Ryoma's been able to get over the wall and back to safety. Galio taking some damage. Rogue joining the fight. Carbon has to smite a minion to stay alive. And Tally's now the target for Sin. Juves picks up that kill, and it's a great skirmish from Sin.
Really nicely done out of Sin again. This time they are able to pick up a significant gold lead. They're also going to grab Dragon for themselves. It is the Infernal, so best Dragon to be able to take at this stage of the game. That was all just off a whiff shot play. You could see that Claire was really eager to pull the trigger on that one. Probably could have held it. Instead, misses. Sin come out with a huge advantage.
They do. Now they have the gold lead, about 1,500 in their favor. They've had FBI just farming in the bottom lane against Lost, making sure that the Yeti carry stays down there. An Infernal Dragon picked up. Next Dragon's another Infernal as well. Sin starting off this game perfectly.
And this is the best feeling when you're already rolling early. You know, your mid lane are 3-0-2. What better thing to get than back-to-back Infernal Drakes? I mean, I think Legacy got 3 Mountains last game, which might have unlocked Baron for them that time, but really didn't give them all that much else as they were already snowballing ahead. However, Sin get the best Drakes in the game and should continue to look to snowball this. Expect the next 6 minutes to still be pretty rapid play.
Carbon, though, has been able to pick up his Redemption. That's a crucial item power spike for Ivan. Will assist him in the next few skirmishes or team fights, but Blade of the Ruin King, as you can see on your screen, picked up by FBI.
And has actually gone with the Berserker Grave, so no Ninja Tabby coming out. Not really all that worried about lost damage in these fights. Would rather be outputting his own. You can see that Juve looking now to invade Carbon after what has been a pretty back and forward early game between the two junglers at least. A little bit more confidence.
Just trying to see where Juves as well as Rogue and Pathing at the moment. And Scuttlecrab to be taken, but they're content with hiding inside the river. Juves charging up his jump there, but gets spotted out by the brush placed down by Carbon.
And instead, it looks like it's going to be the 5-man, 4-man into bottom lane.
That was spotted out by Cupcake. Still gets jumped on by Juves. Instantly dashes back towards Lost. But Juves is still sticking around, so there are a couple of wards here.
I mean,
it seems like they want to force this play.
Ryoma can just wall. They're actually just trying to get the turret for themselves.
Might be able to go
Here
for
we
it.
go.
There's the wall. They're jumping in. Doppler has teleport. Tally does not, so this could be a big fight for Sin. Ryoma has already been able to take down Cupcake. That's 1 kill for the Sin lineup, and it seems like they're going to disengage and just take the turret.
Yeah, I mean, that's really smart play. Ryoma goes in. Cupcake, for some reason, doesn't flash. Gets absolutely exploded by the mid laner, who's already got himself a needlessly large rod in this matchup.
That's first brick picked up by Sin, as well as all the gold going to FBI.
So 2,500 gold is now the lead.
I think the biggest part about that as well is Doppler backed off to look for a teleport, and he didn't even need to. So Sin still hold on to a teleport advantage, because Tally's is just off halfway off cooldown. I can't do words, but Roma going for another one-on-one. As Juves coming in, heal is used. Carbon forced to flash forward. Now he's the one that's in trouble. Juves tries to bounce Claire back, doesn't get the full channel off, but Carbon will still die eventually here. The final auto attack from Roma is enough. Carbon immediately takes a sip of his drink. This time has to pull his microphone away, Spawn. A little bit too frustrated here.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case, and there's not really all that much they can do without the wave clear, gone back to base, without Carbon being able to place down the brushes. 500 range, 80 carries, just not going to be able to clear that one out. It's now a 4,000 gold lead. And as we said, as soon as Sin had those advantages on Ryoma, they needed to be able to shove up the lane and play aggressively. That is exactly what they have done. They've put themselves in a beautiful position now to be able to take down the second dragon of the game when it spawns in about 2.5 minutes. And really, there's not many, I guess, options left for Legacy. They gave up, as you said, 2 pieces of the Exodia comp. They've got a good top laner. They've got the tankiest jungler running around Summoner's Rift at the moment. And unfortunately, if you fall behind, you're just not going to be able to burn through them.
On top of that, Ryoma's having a Ryoma game. Jish was talking about on the desk here. He has that X factor that a lot of mid laners don't have in the OPL, where they're just games that he wins because he's in the game. And he's done that again here for Sin. He's 5-0-2. He's been able to 1v1 Claire a couple of times.
Yeah, I don't know if mid laners in the OPL don't have that X factor. I mean, when you have a look at it now, who? You got Luch, Suman, Swiffer, Fantix, Claire has had those games. You just said Ryoma.
Yeah.
I don't know who else.
I don't know if they have it as much as Ryoma. I mean, Swiffer.
Ryoma is a good mid laner. I just think that mid lane is one of the most stacked positions in the competition at the moment.
Legacy during this time, they're going to try and equalize turrets here. Dockler actually in a sticky situation, but we're not going to watch him die.
Yeah,
we're just going to watch top lane turret as FBI's in trouble. He's taking down a top lane turret by himself. As Dockler trying to 1v4. Almost gets the upper hand doing just that. He's been locked down by so many crowd control abilities, but look at how long it takes to kill this Galio. There's enough time for Ryoma to come down here, and he's not dead yet. Cupcake's the one that's in trouble. Dockler tries to go back in. It's just so hard to kill this Galio.
Well, the problem was they didn't want to use any ultimates to do it. And in the end, that comes back and bites them because now they've lost so much health, they can't actually push in, although now Tally has.
Jumping into the backlines, hits the bear trap on the rope, pulls Ryoma back in, but a good shove will knock them all back. However, Cupcake goes in, will eventually die to Ryoma, but still.
They're on the inhibitor. I mean, it doesn't matter. Even though they get the big shutdown bonus, they're not going to be able to stop this inhibitor from falling.
Feels like deja vu.
At least the turret goes down.
I believe this has happened to them before. They just lose their base turret 20 minutes into the game because they're overzealous with dives.
And now 38 minutes into the 35 seconds until Dragon spawns. They're going to have their full members back unavailable for the Sin lineup. They have all their ultis available on the 3 members that were just pushing the lane. And I feel like Legacy overreached there. They really wanted to take down Ryoma and spent too many crucial cooldowns without getting a big gold advantage off it.
9-3 in kills in favor of Sin. 4,500 gold lead in favor of Sin as well, with that second Infernal Dragon now spawning. Carbon trying to get positioning around this pit, will secure Scuttle Crab and is now making sure there's as much brush as possible in this Dragon pit.
Yeah, Juice actually recalled after they took the play. I thought he was going to march straight towards Dragon, instead went back. So this is a good opportunity for them to burst through it. They need to prioritize more damage, however.
They've got it. Legacy take that down already. It's good play from Carbon.
So against the play, Sin give up a Drake that should have been theirs by all rights, Fish. 2 Infernal Drakes would have nearly been the nail in the coffin for this game because they are just so far ahead. Instead, now we get the cutoff.
Ooh, that's going to stop Legacy from getting towards this mid lane inner turret. Very interesting use of the wall by Ryoma. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, already half the damage has gone onto the turret. Will mean now that Claire does get to approach, he'll be able to clear it out. Tally takes half his health, however.
And you'd think if FBI was in the right position during that play, it would have been a great wall by Ryoma. They still get good damage on the mid lane at a time.
Juice wants the dive still.
He's been spotted out. He's still going in. Juice with 3-man knockup. Tries to bounce people back again. Not the full charge he needed to do just that. Doppler is tanking up as much damage as possible. And still, Legacy are losing this fight. Good
in the back line
by FBI, but you're right. Tally trying to disrupt the back line. Looking for Ryoma. Can't finish him off. Shockwave doesn't connect again as Tally is dismounted during the charge. Doppler picks up that kill.
Yeah, and that once again is just Claire pulling the trigger on the Shockwave preemptively. Maybe thought that Tally was going to go back in with his dying breath. Instead, he was well and truly running away. And because that cooldown is down, now they feel comfortable to actually siege up again.
Looking for the inhibitor turret here, but Legacy still have 4 members strong, and 22 minutes into the game, no Baron buff. Difficult to take down these inhibitor turrets. Instead, they stick for the 1 turret, spoils that kill, back off, reset the map.
At the same time, that was teleport used. That was, Carbon having to burn Flash one more time. There's just little mistakes creeping into Legacy's team fighting that wasn't there in game 1, especially from Claire that had an absolute cracker. He's already down 2,000 gold, we know that. He needs the Shockwaves to be on point if there is any hope. We see the combined recall there.
FBI is going to continue to farm in this mid lane. Has this Blade of the King as well as the Hurricane now.
He's going towards an IE.
He is. Pickaxe, probably. Arlen says he picked up by Carbon. That's We have seen it on Ivan, just not really second itemish. Athene's is more common.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, I feel like so many of their eggs are in the Lost basket now. It becomes, can we peel for Lost successfully, make sure that he survives, if he's able to R the Zac ult, as he's been able to do twice now successfully, not get carried into the team fight. They do have a reasonably good front-to-back composition. You can see that he's also most likely going to go for the Executioner's Calling into, I can't remember the name, Mortal Reminder, to try and chunk out Jubes as well as Dockler. So I like the build so far out of Lost. He is going to be a tank shredder. The game just needs to go for another 10 minutes for him to get to that point.
Legacy, they're not out yet. They're only about 5,000 gold down, actually. Which is not too much, 24 minutes into the game. They still have a win in their pockets as well. So if Sin pick up a win here, they still only send it to game 3. But remember, every point is crucial in the OPL. Every game you win matters. Even if you drop the set 2-1, at least you still pick up a point and your opponents only get 2. A 2-0, however, gives you all 3 points.
Big teleport coming in here.
That's a big flank. Dockler coming into the back lines. Kled's not there, doesn't have his teleport, but does have ultimate. Carbon fighting 1-5. Oh my goodness, Claire. He's been delivered into the back lines, but is that going to be detrimental? He trades 1-for-1 with FBI. Not a good start for Sin. Roma's now being chased down. Galio forced to use his ultimate to defend here, but gets interrupted. Tally on top of Ryoma. That could be both Sin's carries are dead. Now Legacy, they're going to try and turn this around. They still have Lost alive. They've got another kill on towards Dockler. Only Juves and Rogue left up.
That could be Baron. Juves, what are you doing? You just carried the mid laner that has Shockwave available onto your AD carry's head. And FBI doesn't flash the ultimate. Claire's able to trade 1-for-1 crucially. I think that's the first Shockwave he's hit all game. And that's going to spell Baron now for the Legacy lineup.
They still have Rogue, they still have Juves. They can muster some form of guerrilla defense. Let's see if they try to. Baron lost about half of his health now. Carbon is fairly low. Cupcake jumps in trying to engage, but Rogue will flash out of this. They burn one summoner spell. Juves looking to try and jump into the pit. He is 2 levels behind Carbon.
Here we
Goes
go.
in early. Lost uses the ultimate. Juves now trying to run away. That's a flash forward from Lost. Rogue really low. Tally picks up that kill. Claire's joined the fight as well. They're on the Baron still. Carbon trying to tank this one up. Getting really low. Baron has reset health.
Baron's gonna kill him.
Carbon has died to the Baron. Legacy still get 2 kills, so a delayed ace, and they only lose Carbon to a Baron, so that's not too bad.
They lose one member. Claire died. Carbon will be back alive before any kind of siege is really here. Juves is dead at the same time, so it's not like they're going to get any kind of position over the Baron. Really nicely done, actually, out of Legacy. They won a team fight then from about 5,000 gold down. They bring it back to roughly 3. So really starting to put the screws in. And as I said, they're just throwing all the eggs into the Lost basket. And because of the way Zaya's ult interacts with both Galio and Juves at the moment, going to be very hard to tie him down.
We even have another Ardent Sensor being picked up by Cupcake, so really throwing everything towards Lost. He's a little bit of gold off of his locket, which would be a big item pickup for Legacy. Claire, he's always online as long as he hits shockwaves, which he hasn't been doing.
I mean, he hit that one.
That one he did, but if he hits those shockwaves, the fight's going to be really different for Legacy. On top of that, we have Last Whisper picked up by Lost. And we are really close to Tally picking up the Gargoyle Stoneplay, which is a big item for Kled now.
Here we go, engage on
the engage.
again.
Will actually pull them back. Lost used the ultimate early, but Dockler's right behind him, so Will taunt him up. Lost, take it down instantly. That's a much better engage from Sin, deleting the AD carry from Legacy. Tally can't find an opportunity to dive into the back lines. Sin will take that single pick and move towards the Infernal Dragon.
And that's what it should be. That should be the Drake pickup. They might even be able to rotate it into a little bit of pressure on the bottom lane turret, because that is an absolutely massive wave right now for the Sin Gaming lineup. Better execution this time, and Lost without summoner spells just looks like he can't avoid all of the CC that comes out. Still return fire a pretty decent amount of damage, however, Fish.
He did.
Zaya, certainly a champion that I'm enjoying seeing in League of Legends.
Almost felt like Lost. That was the one time he couldn't use his ultimate in time to stop any damage from Juves. this time he actually got jumped on by these, who knocked up
This
straight.
actually might be the start of the Baron because Lost is still nowhere near the fight. Tally's going to have to deal with bottom lane.
They have a ward so they know. Tally does have teleport. Does Carbon try for this one? Baron's already so low. Flair gonna have to try and steal it with Shockwave. Does he go for it? Doesn't get it. Very close though. Good smite from Jubes.
But they do have a flank here.
Here he
Tally
comes.
is behind the entire team.
He's on top of Rogue. He's taking so much damage though. He's trying to obliterate the support. Will get the kill. Trades 1-for-1 though. Lost has joined the fight, so they do get a good trade. They delete one Baron buff member, but
I mean, I don't know if that's a good trade. I don't know if calling top laner for support is ever going to be a good trade. Tally is going to be able to pick, I guess, another Megatron cloak up for it, so not the worst. They also get a turret, so will delay the push. However, Sin now with a big advantage. They have the Varus already, who goes back, grabs himself an IE, and they have a relatively good diving comp. If they can get Zac and Galio into the back line, which they were able to do and take out Lost.
Galio's got his Randuin's Omen, Abyssal's Mask, as well as the components for his Gargoyle's Stoneplate. Carbon's been able to pick up his Locket though, which is a good item for him to have in these big, heavy team fights against Sin. But Lost, past few team fights, hasn't gotten too much from it. Hasn't been able to pick up any more items. He's still stuck on SSG, but now we'll go for Lord Dominic's Regard.
Yeah, so no Mortal Reminder coming out. So Jubes does have the potential to get a lot of health back in these team fights still. I want to see whether Cupcake goes for another Locket, or whether he actually picks up the flag to send a minion creep. Banner of Command, there we go. To be able to really pressure out Galio, because Galio does not deal with bannered up minions well at all. Everything he does is magic damage, including one of his auto attacks.
In fact, neither does Ryoma, neither does Jubes. Only a guy can really deal with those. Now Sin content with pushing bottom lane in the turret.
Just watch Ryoma in these sieges every single time. He's shoving mid lane wave, but when they approach the turret, he ducks into Fuzzle's wall and he threatens with the wall. Every single time. It means that it becomes incredibly hard if you're Legacy to defend this, because if he lets the wall go across and you get caught on the wrong side, they just absolutely chunk you out. And you can see that he's, at the same time, still pressuring into the Legacy lineup. Peculiar that Sin has actually gone bottom lane with their Baron buff and not pressured the open inhib, which would have been a little bit easier to get done.
They're going for a 1-1-3, so Doppler's walking Baron buff minions in towards that inhibitor. Tally's going to try and fight him.
I was going to say, the problem is that I think Tally actually wins the one-on-one. Maybe not against Baron buff creeps as well, but certainly if he gets enough auto attacks in with the Titanic Hydra as well as the Black Cleaver, he will start shredding through and really do some damage with that W.
It's quite a bit of pressure though being placed down by Sin, mid lane, bottom lane, as well as top lane. So far, Legacy happy to deal with this. Player has joined this fight. They actually get a route down towards... Oh! Get out of my lane! Rogue's almost dead. Does blow the flash as well, which is big for Legacy.
It certainly is. I mean, what the heck was that damage? Claire is so far behind. It's still able to nearly one-shot. Now the engage is coming in.
There's the teleport right behind them, coming in from Doppler, trying to cut off Legacy's engage. He will be able to get a good taunt down, but only connects with Tally. Cupcake jumps back in. Still a front-to-back fight. Jubes will deliver Claire into the back lights and flashes away instantly. Tally is the first casualty. Shockwave
not good enough.
Not good. Only connects onto Doppler. Lost, forced to use his ultimate as well. Pulls back the feathers, doesn't lock down anyone. Now Sid, they have the opportunity to siege this mid lane turret.
Yeah, and that is going to be the turret falling down. See whether they can take a fight afterwards, however, as Doppler is now very low.
No Tally, 35 seconds. They do root up Doppler. No one goes in. Cupcake tries to get some damage as well as a heal back for his team. 3-on-4, blinking health bars. They need Lost to be in a good position for this. Cupcake goes in. Here comes Galio's ultimate. Claire back into this fight. Might be able to stop them. Cupcake going in. Big chance coming out. Doppler's the first one to fall. Claire pushing aggressive forward, but so much damage coming out from Ryoma. Stops Legacy in their tracks. They get a couple of kills, defend one inhibitor, but lose mid lane.
Yeah, they lose big damage on top lane as well. But at the same time, what a play out of Cupcake. Able to run in, get a couple of charms. If Ryoma had mana in the end of that team fight, would have been able to take down everyone, however, was running You can see Gargoyle's Stoneplate picked up for both top laners now, so both will be much tankier as they're running into these 5-man engages. You just feel if Claire hits a Shockwave, Legacy win.
Yeah.
The problem is he's not hitting any of his shockwaves, Fish.
Nope. Gargoyle Stoneplay, as you mentioned, picked up by both top lanes. Also that locket for Cupcake, so not going for Banner of Command. Instead, still just trying to protect Claire, trying to protect Lost. Juve's got a good jump off that fight, delivered Claire into the team, so forced him to flash away. That cooldown should be down for the next fight unless Sin and Legacy stalled this out. Dragon's up in the next 15 seconds. It's not 35 minutes yet, so it's another Elemental Dragon. Not as important though, because all Infernal Dragons are off the table now.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you're Legacy, you probably would prefer a Mountain Dragon right now. If you're Sin, you might even just take an Ocean to keep yourself topped up, especially if you're Ryoma, running in and out of these sieges.
Fortunately, they get neither as a Cloud Dragon spawns in the room.
Oof. I mean, you just don't even care anymore. You just want to, you want anyone to kill it, so you get an Elder at some point. See whether they're able to pick it up, because you can see Sin posturing very aggressively towards top side of the map, want to take down that inhibitor.
Yep. Already recalls being channeled by the rest of Legacy. Doppler is bottom lane though, and he just showed he has no teleport, so Tally gets good damage on towards Juves. He has a Black Cleaver, so even against tanks, as long as it's a prolonged fight, he will deal so much damage. Doppler now in position for an ultimate, which he has up.
You can see that Ryoma also posturing aggressively onto Tally, although, ooh, big play out of Cupcake.
And here comes Galio looking to try and lock them down. Juso charmed up, only going to be able to send Tally into the back lines. He's very low. Tally gets locked down by FBI. Doppler trying to knock them back. Cupcake low, Lost using his ultimate. Doppler with the Gargoyle Stormplate will charge on forward. Roma builds a wall, separates Legacy, and Sin starts to move towards top lane inhibitor.
Yeah, really nicely done. Ryoma cuts off everyone. That means the inhibitor will most likely fall down because it is only the two supportive members over here. However, now the collapse comes out, and can they get out cleanly?
Shockwave connects on towards Ryoma, but only Ryoma. Tally in the back lines, pops Juve's passive on top of Ryoma now, gets that first kill, will trade his life for it. Rakan has fallen as well. Claire, only one left up in this fight. Lost only now joining the rest of his team, so he can't defend the base with everyone.
Yeah, was being kept busy, it looked like, by Doppler on the bottom side of the fight, so keeping out the most crucial member of Legacy, arguably. You could see Claire finally lands a Shockwave. It's on Ryoma. It takes him down, but everyone else just lives by the skin of their teeth. Sin executing very well on these team fights, Fish. But Legacy, you can see Deathcap finished up. IE on its way. They're starting to play themselves back into it. There's no real way that Baron can be taken. Juves is back in base.
It's on the table though, and immediately you should know that Sin's next objective is towards that Baron. Big minion wave bottom. Tally can deal with that as he has teleport available, level 16, so is Doppler. Sin moves straight towards the pit, they find the ward, it's going to be denied by that control ward. Legacy are grouping up, they know they have to try and stop this.
Yeah, the big thing is Claire's somehow got no health and no mana still. So you can see that Juves can walk in.
He's got no Void Staff either, so all the magic possessions built up by the Sin members, it's going to help them out a lot.
And without two inhibitors, I mean, it becomes really difficult to contest anything right now in the Baron pit. So you can see that they're just controlling the area. Doppler's zoning them away, and it will be started. Teleport's coming in, they know.
Is coming in, but they can't get into the Baron pit in time. The only thing Legacy can hope for is a fight going in their favor right after.
They go for it.
Ooh, Tally using his ultimate the wrong direction there. It's about 2 steps of an ultimate.
Gives him a little bit of movement speed.
A little bit. Don't know if it was enough. Then Legacy retreating because look at their base. Already under attack by super and minions. That turret's taking a beating.
Yeah, it actually looks like it's going to fall down. I mean, can they actually get there in time? Instead, we're watching Doppler. And it does fall down. So in the end, they're going to manage to pick up the free objective. Mid-inhibitor comes back alive, but is immediately going to be under threat. Legacy. As is bottom lane, and with no ulti out of Tally, how do they actually engage?
Legacy need to go for a last stand somewhere. They've already lost their inhibitor turret. It's either inhibitor or the Nexus. They have to choose where to fight. Inhibitor is where it's at. Galio goes in. Big 3-man knock-up. FBI goes on a killing spree as he takes down Rakan. Claire is going to have to back off. Tally is in trouble. The wall separates Legacy from their base, but it's actually knocked down by Ryoma. 2 kills picked up by Sin. They're moving towards the final inhibitor. This should be game for them. them.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. Juves again goes for the engage, this time onto Claire. Going to be able to pull him back.
And Dockler gets the taunt into the uppercut. Left, right, good night to you, Claire, as now the Nexus is under attack. Sin will be able to tie up this series 1-1 against Legacy and take us to Game 3.
And much better execution out of Sin. Ryoma able to get a triple kill in the earlier stages of the game. His damage was on point. You can see Juves just saying, let's just calm down. I mean, we played that one slowly. We got the engages we were looking for, and we were able to make it work. But really, big shout out to the mid laner of Sin. His walls were on point. His damage in teamfight and his presence was always there. And Legacy, I mean, I just don't know in a draft if you can afford to give away Zac and Galio if your answer is Kled. I mean, if they had a much more aggressive, split push heavy top laner to really keep Galio at home, might have made a little bit of sense. But when your 2 carries are being dove on by the 2 biggest tanks in the game, Fish, it becomes very hard to fight your way forward in these team fights.
It does, and they had a couple of team fights where they took down FBI as well as Ryoma. Things looked a lot better for Legacy, but
You just can't access the backline.
yep, it's just no way for them to do just that. And with that, Sin equalized the game. Carbon as well on the Ivan, not as impressive as his Nunu match in that game.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. I mean, there were lots of problems with Legacy's game that time around. The shockwaves were the biggest one. The draft was really questionable in my eyes. So I think that they have to look at that game holistically, throw it in the bin, and just start from square one, because that was very different from how they played in game 1.
Well, to break down that game further and to bring us into the final match between these two teams, let's throw it back to Hingers, who's at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Fish and Spawn. Well, just your boy Tommy, your boy Ryoma, he's popping off. Is that what happens when you just give Sin a bunch of OP champs and Ryoma can just kind of do what he wants as well? Or?
Yeah, that draft was a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah. Sin felt very confident when I was talking to Bensel. He was like, yeah, I think we got this.
Yeah. So I think, obviously, like, there's always room to play around the OPs, and you can trade and stuff like that. I think when you're picking, you're giving them Zac, and in response you're taking Xayah Rakan, I think you've made like a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Like the bot lane's good. Like both of you can, I'm sure, will agree that that's a good bot lane. But like the key word there is it's good. It's not like overpowered. It's not the best bot lane or anything.
So what are you hoping for? If you give them Zac Galio and you take Xayah Rakan, what are you hoping for?
Well, I mean, I feel like you need to play through the bot side, and that's just not what they did. Like, Zac Galio is such a big front line, and then Xayah Rakan is such a strong bot lane, and then they picked Xayah into it, which is a bit questionable. I think when the Braum Destiny showed yesterday that Braum is very good into that matchup. So I don't know why Rogue didn't go for that one, but obviously they liked the Xayah into that matchup. But then Xayah and Rakan, Cupcake and Lost were kind of just fending off Juves' ganks the entire lane phase. They actually played it really well in the early stages of the game. They were 2v3ing and coming out like even or ahead, which in a 2v3 shouldn't be happening. So they were playing it actually very well, given their circumstances, but I think their circumstances should have been different. Legacy should have been putting more pressure in the bot side for them to be able to play through that matchup, because that's obviously what they wanted to trade for the Zac Galio.
Right. Destiny, when you look at the draft we just saw then, was there anything in particular you would have changed for Legacy, given that they gave away Zac and Galio?
Do not give them Galio Zac. that is the best advice I can give you. I don't
watching at home, like, why is Zac Galio so OP? Because it's a new split. People haven't seen these champs in competitive because they're often banned. So why is it so strong?
It's just like Galio gets triple Doran's rings and just constantly pushes you in. Even if he's in a bad matchup, like, he always pushes you in. And even if he gets behind, he's always useful because of his ult. Gives 20% damage reduction, which is like crazy. And then just Zac as a champion is just really strong right now. He has decent matchups across the board. He can farm the jungle. He excels at ganking. And both of them together is just boom.
You just
like
can't kill anyone.
Yeah, you just can't kill them because Zac's passive, Zac's tanky, the damage reduction. It's really hard to play around, and it wasn't worth what Legacy got in return.
And it just gives you, like, the combination, so much access to the backline, where you have an Orianna and you have a Xayah. Xayah can ulti out of CC, but, like, Zac just, he just sits there charging up his slingshot, and he's like, I'm coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. He lands, like, Galio ulti over the top, like, you just can't get away.
What about the Ivan pick? I mean, we saw Carbon kind of, you know, having fun on Nunu last. Obviously, that champ was open.
He picks the fun champs.
Why is he picking? Why do you think he picked Nunu rather than Ivan? I mean, obviously we got to ask him. But like, what is he trying to achieve with Ivan? More healing fun?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Zac as a jungler is considered the best jungler in the patch. I think most people will agree with that. But he isn't good at skirmishing, so like you want to pick a jungler into it that can like bully him around early and get some sort of advantage. Like he just wants to farm up, wants to get to 6, and wants to like play with the combo with the Galio, and then picking an Ivan who's not going to skirmish either. He doesn't do damage. He just wanders around like friend of the forest, like playing with the grump, playing with the wolves. Like he doesn't do damage. Like he
Vision
can't.
ward.
Yeah, walking vision wall. Yeah, he can't fight Zac, so he can't bully him around when Zac is weakest.
Yeah.
So like you kind of give the best jungler on the patch and then pick something that isn't even good into the best jungler's weaknesses. It just seems like real.
Well,
real iffy.
on the top of that, we've talked a lot about Carbon's items in the past, and Destino upstairs we were talking about this. He's gone double. Well, across the team of Legacy, they've gone double Art and Sensor. What do you think of? What do you think of that build midway through the game?
Yeah, I very much disagree that both Carbon and
Cupcake,
yes, they both built Ardent Sensor and like halfway through the game. Please build a Locket, Carbon, please. Like, Rakan can get 2 procs of the Ardent Sensor because he can jump and then jump again.
Yep.
But Carbon can only use it once with his E. So it's more beneficial if Rakan builds it and then he builds the Locket, so he's more tankier.
But if both of them build, it doesn't stack, does it? So you can't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, late game, it's okay, but in the mid game, especially versus Zyra, it's very, like, that is a crucial item purchase that I felt should have got punished, but it didn't.
Do you know why they would? Was it just a mistake, do you think? Or
Yeah, it could have just been communication.
Misfired then.
Yeah. I'm sure Big Brain Lucio will get on them after that, I hope.
Big brain. Just your boy Tommy Rioma was massive this game. Let's take a look at this fight where he gets a pair of kills. Now, in particular, what is he doing right here? Is he just kind of like running around doing damage?
Yeah, this fight's actually like, it's sort of exciting because you think like there's a chance Carbon turns his counter gank around, you know, and they chase back in. Obviously, the first kill goes down to Legacy 2. And then just off your screen, you'll see the 2 mid laners fighting around just behind the dragon. And this is where it sort of becomes kind of exciting because Tommy actually gets the better of him and cuts him off with the wall and ends up, yeah, here it comes. So he gets the better of him, cuts him off with the wall, goes around the back, and he sort of changes the way this game's played because, as we said, like they want to play through bottom lane and get their strong duo ahead.
Yeah,
when you have
Legacy want that. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you have complete control of mid lane, which Tommy is securing, sorry, Ryham is securing right now, makes it really hard to make any sort of proactive play because the Weaver's wall is just going to come down and cut you off, and anytime like you sort of try to assert dominance or like aggression in that bottom lane, you know, like the 4-0 Talia is going to be there to punish you for it.
Yeah, and eventually I think it ends up like 6-1-2 or something like that, doing quite well, doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, winning team fights from behind, obviously very, very difficult. We saw that last game. Ejim, this is perhaps the moment where Legacy looked like they might be able to turn it around. They're 5k goal behind. They take this team fight. Can you talk us through what's happening in this second replay as we bring it up?
Yeah, as we bring it up. This is actually one of the mid lane. So Ryma, I don't know, just coming in looking for Carbon, but then Juves just brings Orianna straight back onto FBI. The bot lane, they've been winning early, and then I think that was the only shockwave that Claire actually landed that game. And then, like, this is just fighting inside a choke.
So is the issue here that Juves, is it that Legacy have done good stuff, or is it just Juves kind of messed up?
Yeah, I feel like they kind of messed up. Juves just basically kills FBI, and then fighting inside the choke, Legacy have the better position, and they just come out ahead, pick up the carries, and then they look towards the Baron, as we're seeing here.
Juves is doing a very good job of showing why Carbon and Spooks were picked for Team Victoria in Origin, I'd say. Despite being given them the strongest jungle champion on the patch.
I want to say, like, when we got in here today for rehearsals, Jish was like, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. It's gonna be good. He's like, been waiting for a moment the entire game to bring it up, and suddenly he's like, yes, I did it, I did it.
Yeah, actually, I'm taking my headset off to go home. I think I've done all I need to do here.
What I need to do. All right, so looking forward to game 3 then. These teams are 1 apiece. Does anyone want to change their predictions from earlier in the day? Anyone want to switch up? You still think Sin's going to take it?
Yes, the boys have it. They have it in the bag. Tommy's carried 1 game. So now I'm hoping FBI like pulls it through and carries the second one.
Anyone else want to change their... You're staying strong?
I'm good. I'm on the Legacy Legion.
All right, well, explain to me then how your team will... or how your backed team takes game 3 then. Destiny, let me start with you.
Honestly, put Claire in a better matchup, please. Like, Talia, like, just completely carried that game. And as you can see, just look at the damage. Talia has 39,000 compared to 19,000. That's 20,000 difference. That's massive. So I think just look at the draft, break it down, hopefully get, like, the first game draft, completely just make it unwinnable. Like, Lucio did a really good draft in the first game, but in this game, I just felt like they didn't have pressure anywhere. They had a bad matchup top, bad matchup in the jungle, and then the bot lane just couldn't unlock like they usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to stick to the Legacy 2-1. I think that game, their draft was just absolutely abysmal. Don't give Sin Galio, don't give them Zac, especially in combination.
Is that a respect issue, do you think? Like, why are they leaving it open?
I don't know. Like, I mean, you'd have to ask Big Brain Lucio on one of the Legacy members.
Someone tweeted it. Someone tweeted Lucio. Someone tweeted Soulstrikes.
Yeah. But Yeah, I think that that was a huge blunder. I think in the first 2 games we've seen so far, both teams make huge blunders. In the first game, we all said that Sin just had 3 losing lanes, and it was like as soon as they fell behind, they just had nothing, and then Legacy did the same thing. So
Are we just gonna all make our prediction now? We'll just like flip a coin, see who's getting a better draft. and
Yeah,
that's it?
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
rock paper scissors, Ben Silvers.
Well, then if Sin are going to take this last game, then how do they do it, Jesh?
So yeah, I think it's obviously back on red side.
Yeah.
They have I'm going to say the drafting advantage just because they have a really strong mid laner in Ryoma, and I would like to see them maybe pivot on that third rotation or the second rotation pick and third pick on red side and use the double bans. Otherwise, just make it completely safe and use like the absolute 5th pick on red side to make sure that as Destiny was saying that if Claire gets a better matchup, maybe this game is easy for Legacy win. But I think Bentel actually can secure like the advantageous matchup for Ryoma.
So you mean
I'd like to see that.
delay the mid lane pick until after you know what Claire's going to pick and then counter pick?
Yeah, you could definitely do that. I'd say.
Well, yeah, red side just has absolute counter pick.
Yeah.
Like that, you have like both last
The
picks,
10th
so-
champion
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
The last one, number 10.
Interesting. That's how numbers work. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
That's how the order of numbers work.
We got it, boys.
All right. Well, before we get into some highlights and go into this third game, I do want to touch on this new top laner for Sin. I mean, we've seen 2 games of him so far. What do we think of him so far? First game, pretty good. Second game, how you feeling?
Yeah, I felt like he played okay. Like
Yeah.
he's not doing bad, but he's not doing fantastic. He's just fulfilling the role that he needs to do. Like
He's probably still finding his feet. Right?
Yeah, he's
I mean,
still-
we don't
yeah.
know if he's got a lot of LAN experience or a lot of play. You know, he's played in some open leagues and stuff
Yeah.
in NA. But yeah, I mean, was he around much in that game? Did you
Oh, I mean, there was a few really good moments for Sin that were centered around Dockler. I think in the bot lane, after Legacy had secured a bit of an advantage, I think they looked to trade top outer for bottom outer, and then Legacy are just like trying to kill Dockler in the bottom lane. He just lived for so long, holding like 4 of them down there.
Yes, it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
They use
and
a bunch of ultimates as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. And meanwhile, FBI is just sitting, like, hitting their top lane outer turret. And they eventually traded, like, 3 turrets. Sin traded 3 turrets for one of the Legacy. Because Legacy got in that position. We've actually seen this last split happen with these 2 teams. Where
In the
Legacy,
gauntlet.
Yeah, in the gauntlet. I don't like talking about the gauntlet. We don't mention the G word. But where Legacy get themselves into this situation where they're looking to trade, and then they fall behind in the trade, and they're not willing to just sack it there. Their leg is like decrepit, and they don't want to chop it off, so that the body doesn't die. You know what I mean? Like they just
What a macabre.
it's the best I got. No, and so like they
infected leg.
overcommit on this bot dive after like not being able to kill Dockler, then they dive the inner instead of pushing. And meanwhile, Sin have just taken the top outer, they've taken the top inner, and then eventually, as Legacy are basing, they take the top like inhib turret. And so it's just like they're just unwilling to realize, okay, we've messed this one up. We need to sack it now before it accrues like a bigger mistake.
But that also speaks to respect and pride, doesn't it? Because if they're willing to let OP champs through and let them, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, is this tilting your Destiny? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think both me and Ejim right now are tilted. Just that's triple.
Claire bought more wards than Cupcake. I mean, I guess Claire was a bit of a support that game, but
Soul Strikes, please talk to your support.
Please.
I don't know.
Nah,
I don't know about that
compliments to Rogue though. That is a lot of wards in comparison to everyone else.
So why didn't Legacy have vision that game? Like, what's going on? Is it hard to have vision when you're getting pushed in?
Like well, you can take this one.
All right, well, like they picked this bot lane like first and second rotation, and he's not getting down wards. Like he has a double dash escape.
Yeah.
Even the W, like he can dash over walls, drop a ward, and get out. Like Ejim was doing that to me yesterday, and I couldn't do anything. So like I don't understand how he has 7 wards. Like maybe he just doesn't know the limits on the champion yet.
Well, I feel like it's not champion specific though. Like I've sat in this exact position with the same with the same player for like 2 splits now. But I don't know. He's like obviously there's like a difference in opinion.
Yes.
Because I mean they've probably watched the VODs back. They've probably like people have talked to them about it. Someone's mentioned it.
You've
right?
mentioned it.
I've mentioned it. Like whether they like get it from me, get it from someone, like they know about this. So like surely they think. They have a differing opinion, right?
Yes.
Surely they don't think that like
Exactly.
it's
That-
bad,
yes.
otherwise they would have fixed it. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
They're not being like, no, this is a bad play. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah, but we have the
respect
microphone, so I just get to sit here complaining.
it. All right, well, we're about to get into our third and deciding match in this, our first game of the day. Before we do, let's see some highlights from Game 2.
Here in lockdown, Rogue was incredibly low. He's going to be the first one to die. Gets his ultimate off, but doesn't connect with anyone. Just good snare coming out from Carbon. Very low. Ryoma, one more auto attack would be enough. Instead, changes his mind, goes towards Cupcake. He's dead. Carbon's next double kill. That's a delayed triple for Ryoma, who just wiped the floor with Legacy. He's been locked down by so many grab control abilities, but look at how long it takes to kill this Galio. There's enough time for Ryoma to come down here, and he's not dead yet. Cupcake's the one that's in trouble. Doppler tries to go back in. It's just so hard to kill this Galio. Ultimate Carbon fighting one front. Oh my goodness, Claire. He's been delivered into the back lines, but is that going to be detrimental? He trades 1-for-1 with FBI. Not a good start for Sin. Ryoma's now being chased down. Galio forced to use his ultimate to defend him, but gets interrupted. Tally on top of Ryoma. That could be both Sin's carries are dead. Now Legacy, they're going to try and turn this around. They still have Lost alive. They've got another kill on towards Doppler. Only Juice and Rogue left up.
That could be Baron.
Here comes Galio looking to try and lock them down. Juso charmed up, only going to be able to send Tally into the back lines. He's very low. Tally gets locked down by FBI. Doppler trying to knock them back. Cupcake low, Lost using his ultimate. Doppler with the Gargoyle Stormplate will charge on forward. Roma builds a wall, separates Legacy, and Sin starts to move towards top lane inhibitor. Shockwave connects on towards Ryoma, but only Ryoma. Tally in the back lines, pops Juice passive on top of Ryoma now, gets that first kill. Will trade his life for it. Rakan has fallen as well. Claire, only one left up in this spy. Lost only now joining the rest of his team, so he can't defend the base with everyone. And Doppler gets the taunt into the uppercut. Left, right, good night to you, Claire, as now the Nexus is under attack. Sin will be able to tie up this series 1-1 against Legacy and take us to game 3.